Hello, and welcome to my live call. Today we are going to be discussing a very controversial topic because, especially with the upcoming COVID-19 vaccine that they are wanting to put together. So, this is a controversial topic, but I'm going to try to stay sort of in the middle as much as possible. I will give you the benefits. I will give you the how they work, and then I'll also discuss how they, what are the adverse effects, and the kind of decision that you can make as an individual when it comes to vaccinating your kids versus not vaccinating your kids. We all have very strong feelings about this topic, so. Feel free to comment in the comment section below about how you feel about it, and it's totally okay. And if I see your comment, I would definitely share that, or I'll acknowledge your comment. So. I think first what we need to do is I want to discuss the very nature of what's really the purpose of getting vaccinated, and why vaccines became such a big deal for all of us and the whole wide world. Why we vaccinate. So the main purpose of how vaccinations really work, and by the way, if share this video with your friends and family, especially if you believe this will be a very good topic for them. Also, if you're on a replay, thank you for being on this video. You can message below, say hi. I will definitely get back to you. You can ask any questions that you want, which is totally okay, and I'll do my best to answer those questions appropriately. So what's really the purpose of vaccinations? Because a lot of times, we get confused about vaccines, and we are wondering what they are really for. So you have a couple of camps. You have three camps. I would say three camps. The one camp says you vaccinate at all costs, and you must start vaccinating at birth. Another camp says, no, we are completely against all vaccinations at all costs. And then you have a third camp that will say, we are not against vaccinations, nor are we for vaccinations, but we are for vaccine safety. And there's a lot of good reasons why people are for vaccine safety, and I will get into that for sure. And wherever you fall within that spectrum, that's certainly your choice for sure. And I have my personal belief and what I truly believe, especially as a master's prepared nurse. But I'm going to be in the middle as much as I can, and I'll give you some reasons why you should be vaccinated versus not vaccinated, and why you should not be vaccinated, and stuff like that. So I will really try to be as objective as possible. So let's talk about the how vaccines work. So you know that our immune system works is a very complex system. So it's always educating itself. It's always learning. It's always picking up foreign pathogens that are coming into the body, and the body's recognizing it, and it's trying to fight it and learn, so that if it were to come back, it can fight it some more. And so the general idea of getting vaccinated is to assist the immune system and its immune response in recognition of that particular pathogen. So you can imagine that when you're being vaccinated, they are vaccinating typically a weakened live virus in your arm or butt or whatever, or they are injecting a dead virus or bacterial inside in your arm or butt area, whatever, wherever they put it at. So you are going to, so when that happens, your immune system automatically begins to recognize that, and so it says, okay, this is something new, and I have to react to it, and I need to educate myself on this particular thing. So it begins to, so you have all your memory T cells and your B cells and all that stuff. They're all learning as much as possible about this particular antigen that was just, or virus, whatever, that was injected into your arm or elsewhere. So many would say that, and as many believe that vaccines are definitely safe. That is definitely true. And so when it goes in, the general idea is for your immune system to really learn these particular viruses or bacteria that goes into your body, and in many cases they do work, and they work because less people are getting ill from those particular viruses that are being like polio, whatever, or you could use like varicella or the Tdap, that kind of thing. People are getting less of that. So in general, those things are, they are truly working in people. And so people will say that vaccines are very safe. Now, so with the current COVID-19 vaccine, it's really being rushed through, and there's a lot of questions of whether or not it's going to be safe for people to take because of how fast it is being rushed. There's not the years and years of testing and really looking into the adverse reactions and that kind of thing. So but what they are going after is herd immunity, because the general idea is that the more people that you vaccinate, the more herd immunity becomes a reality. So when herd immunity becomes a reality, then what happens is the incidence of that particular illness will begin to lessen. It does not mean that it goes away completely or it gets eradicated, because you cannot really eradicate a virus or a bacteria per se, but you can sort of suppress it to a point where it's not really a big deal that much anymore. So this is what the aim is for a lot of vaccines when they particularly give you this particular vaccine. Now, so a lot of people do believe it does have altering DNA and nanotechnology in it that kind of alters the way the body works. So when we look at how these vaccines particularly work, then we know that we will say, okay, sure, vaccines are super duper effective, and we should always vaccinate at all costs. Whether you're a baby, whether you're a toddler, whatever, or you're an adult or whatever. So we get the general idea, because we are seeing less of a particular illness, that vaccines are very there's hardly any adverse reactions. There's nothing like that, because the vaccine, the incidence of illness is a lot less. So you can check all this stuff out, by the way, on the CDC website and stuff like that. Everything that I'll be talking about tonight is on the CDC website and also other websites. So the CDC will make these claims about the benefits of of these particular vaccines. And so one of the things that they'll say, well, you should really get vaccinated, because in Japan, when they stopped vaccinating for pertussis, the incidence of pertussis began to rise by 80%. Another says that you benefit of vaccination is that you're keeping the disease, you're eliminating disease, which, by the way, you cannot eliminate disease. You can lower it, but you cannot eliminate it. And that you make, they say that diseases are becoming rare due to vaccination, which is, I would argue that, diseases are not becoming rare, but they are still there. Maybe some of them are being sleepers, but they're still there. And in some cases, it can actually, vaccines give the opportunity for more stronger types of diseases, or stronger types of mutated viruses and bacteria, because once you become inoculated for this particular virus, it does not mean that you're inoculated for a mutated version of that same particular virus. So if something were to mutate, like if you were to get polio, and that you're inoculated to that polio virus, but guess what? If that polio virus decides to mutate, you're no longer really inoculated. However, because it's similar in context, your body is still able to recognize, oh, this is a polio virus, and we need to attack it. But sometimes that immune response may not be as it won't be effective, because there's a mutation in it that's causing you to have symptoms. So that's why you get symptoms. Like when you get the flu, it gives you like 4 different types of flu viruses that you're going to be inoculated against. Well, you may not get those 4, but there's mutations to those. So if you were to get the flu, guess what? You still got the flu, because you're no longer inoculated to those 4. So that's why people still get sick when they get the flu shot. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits to having vaccinations in general, and I'm gonna put up an article on vaccinations on my blog website at chadallan.net, CHADALLAN.net. I put the link in above the video, and you can check that for sure. And I'll try to have that up tonight, or the latest tomorrow morning, because I really want to have a well-researched and objective article for you, so you can get benefit from it and read it, and that way you can make an informed decision about what vaccinations are for. Also, you can also get my free Ultimate Health Survival Guide, and that's there also. You just have to click on the banner, and you can you fill out your information, you get that free booklet, or there's a little insert below that you can on the homepage that you can also read more about that and get that free guide as well. So, okay, so let's talk about the adverse effects of vaccines, because in reality, these vaccines are very, 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 these adverse effects can be very damaging to the body, and these are things that doctors do not typically are going to inform you about. They know about the generalized type adverse reactions and stuff like that, but they don't necessarily are going to give you the really like, oh my goodness, this could happen if I give it to my son or daughter. This could happen, or that can happen if I particularly take it. So, and these are, unfortunately, these are things that the companies are not going to tell you, or it's on the CDC website, so you can go to CDC, you can check it there. You can also check out the manufacturer's inserts about those particular vaccines. You can read all the adverse reactions. You can read everything about it all on there. So whatever I discuss with you, you can check it for yourself there, because it's really there. But there's a lot of advocacy for vaccine safety, and vaccine safety should be discussed at whenever you are considering to get a vaccine. So if you go, there's a website called Children's Health Defense. I really like this particular site because I find it to be. They're all about vaccine safety. For me, I particularly like it, and in that they have an article. It's childrenshealthdefense.org. You can check it out there, and they talk about the effects of those who are vaccinated versus those who are not vaxxed. So they tend to be, they're not completely non-vaxxers. They are typically more about vaccine safety in general. So, but in this particular thing, they show studies, the various studies that were done on vaccines versus those who were vaccinated versus those who were not vaccinated. And I was really surprised at some of these numbers, because it can really, when you really look at the differences, you're really like, oh my goodness, this is quite a difference between those. So let's. I'll run through these very quickly. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on them, because I also want to talk about other adverse reactions. But this is those who have been vaccinated, what they are more susceptible of, versus those who are not vaccinated and what they are susceptible of. So those who receive the swine flu vaccine, that is the Pandemrix. In that, they said that it increases the rate of narcolepsy in Swedish children by 25 times. So those who are not yet vaccinated, this particular study stated that where the percentage is one time, well, after they get vaccinated, it jumps up to 25 times the amount of kids who have narcolepsy after they get the swine flu vaccine. For the pregnant women who get the Tdap, Tdap for the most part tends to be one of the safer vaccines. But in this, it talks about the risk of chorioamnionitis, in pregnant women. So those who are vaccinated and those who are not. And for me, when I look at this, I don't really consider it to be a big difference. Those who are pregnant versus not pregnant. So when I look at this, I see it as a little bit of a. It's like, okay, if you get it, you're okay. If you don't get it, okay, that kind of thing. But those who typically get this infection, they typically are about, let's see here. It says 1.19 times versus one time. So that's not really that big of a deal or that big of a difference, but there still is a difference between those who are vaccinated versus those who are not vaccinated. Okay. Then we look at the rotavirus vaccine, the Redoxy, and it talks about intussusception. Intussusception is more like a blockage of the intestine, and those who took this rotavirus vaccine were 5.8 times more likely to get blockage of the intestines versus those who did not get the vaccine. So it's quite a jump from 5.8 from 1. So it's quite a big difference. Those who have the measles vaccination versus those who just got the measles by themselves without getting any kind of a vaccine. So those are like, in other words, those who got the measles but were never vaccinated versus those who got the measles vaccination. And in this, it says that they were 2.8 more times to have tick. So, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. Hold on. I grabbed the wrong one here. Here we go. Yeah, 2.8 more times to have infection of measles versus those who just got the measles or were never vaccinated for the measles vaccination. So if you were to get the measles vaccination, you are 2.8 more times more likely to get measles than those who did not get the measles vaccination, and it just allowed the infection to naturally occur. So another one is talking about mercury exposure, or what they call thimerosal, and this is talking about the infants' vaccines and the increase of motor tics. So if the infants who received the vaccination and the thimerosal was there, the mercury, they were 2.19 times more likely to get motor tics. They were also 2.44 more times to get phonics tics. So, like the motor and stuff like that, and which is kind of scary, actually, if you think about it. And I know some people that have tics, like like jerky movements or that kind of thing, and I know a few people like that. So on the vaccines that reduces delaying the first 3 DPT vaccine doses reduces asthma by 61%. Wow. So imagine if you delayed the DPT vaccine, according to this website, you would reduce your incidence of having asthma by 61% versus those who are on schedule and stayed on schedule on the vaccine with the DPT vaccine who will have asthma. Now we are looking now at premature puberty because of the mercury that's in it, will be 6.45 more times more likely to have premature puberty. So, these, now you take it for what it's worth, but they all have studies supporting these particular claims, and you can definitely check this out on their website at childrenshealthdefense.org, and there's a lot of good information there, lots and lots of medical research and stuff like that. So it's on this particular website. So let's take a look now at the adverse reactions to some of the things, such as the flu vaccine, because I think these are, when you look at these, you have already seen some of the adverse reactions from these particular vaccines. But let's look at other potential adverse reactions, and this is in general for most vaccines, not all, but for many of the vaccines. So, but let's just focus more on the flu vaccine per se, because a lot of people are getting the flu, and the flu season is about to come back very, very soon. And so we talked about a little bit before how people have taken the flu vaccine and they still get the flu. I've shared this in other times on other videos in the very same way. So let's say you were to get the flu vaccine, and whatever, there's like 3 or 4 different types of makers, but anyway, in general, not in case of every single one, you could receive allergic reactions, which is true with anything, pretty much, that anything synthetic that you take in, it could be an allergic reaction. You could develop an abnormal gait. You could develop dyspnea. You could develop encephalopathy. You could develop pain in the eyes. You could develop arthritis, bronchospasm. This is from the Flula valve that you can receive, and there's other ones too, by the way. You can have chest pains. You could develop cellulitis. You can develop dizziness, vomiting, and dysphonia. You could develop facial or cranial nerve paralysis, like this. You could develop Guillain-Barré syndrome. You could develop hypokinesia and hypoesthesia. You could develop flu-like symptoms, which is true with any flu vaccine. You could develop rashes and inflammations. Let's look at some of the other ones here. You could develop insomnia and laryngitis and limb paralysis. You can even become paralyzed. You can develop generalized rashes or muscle weakness, and you could develop syncope and throat tightness and tremors, and some of these will even cause death. So there's a lot of bad adverse reactions to these particular vaccines. And it's not so much that they are putting an antigen inside of the body, because if they were able to just put the antigen inside the body without actually putting other types of synthetic material, like the thimerosal, the mercury, or the aluminum. Sometimes they use aluminum as an activator in order to activate the immune system response to the antigens, especially if it's a dead virus. I mean, you technically are not going to have an immune response with something that is dead because it's already dead. So it has to use some form of an activator, whether that is thimerosal or whether that is aluminum or whatever the metal is that they put in. Now you're thinking about this. Sometimes if you're putting it to an infant, right, and then and they are not really measuring the amount of metal that they're putting into the baby, well, guess what? Sometimes you're putting much more aluminum or much more mercury into the baby than what they can really have within them. So you don't want to, and that is it's really one of the biggest reasons why there can be a lot of damage or adverse reactions that take place from these particular vaccines, is because of the synthetic material that's within them. If they were just putting an antigen inside the body, your body would react accordingly to that, and there won't be this major negative reaction that takes place. But because you're putting the stuff, then yeah, there's definitely something that is taking place. So I want to do one last thing, and I want to compare. Now you can go to my website at chadallen.net, CHADALLAN.net. The link is above the video, and I will be placing an article there about the vaccines either later tonight or tomorrow. I really want to have an objective form of an article so that it's objective for you to read, and that way you can make your decisions for yourself, and that way you're much more educated as well when you're making these type of decisions, or you're talking to your doctor about these various things. So, and don't be afraid to talk to your doctors. most doctors are willing to listen and hear you out. There's a few that would be very strong. Uh, they don't like the idea of you talking with them about these things. I don't know why, but for the most part, most doctors are very good, and they will really listen to you. So, I want to compare with you because I do have a product that is immune based that helps to educate the immune system. That helps to recognize pathogens. It helps to remember these pathogens so that it can fight them later on if they were to reoccur. And also, during that infection, they will increase and boost the immune system to the point where it can destroy that particular pathogen that's taking place. So I want to compare because it's the immune messengers are very intelligent messengers that's already occurring inside the body, but sometimes you don't have enough of it because so that's why your immune system is breaking down and not getting the kind of help that it needs. So when we talk about vaccines and immune messengers, we are really looking at the exact same thing, but they use a different way of attacking and trying to educate the immune system. So when we talk about vaccines are using antigens that are already within the there are like viral antigen or bacterial antigen, and it's injecting into your body in order to have a immune response take place, so that the immune system will learn, it will train itself, it will get educated, and then so it learns all of this stuff and it learns how to recognize. So if this particular virus or bacteria that comes against you were to come, then your immune system is able to respond and kill it quickly before there are symptoms. Immune messengers, on the other hand, uses what is called transfer factors to transfer immunity from one cell to another in order to recognize and educate and remember pathogens that are viral or bacterial in nature, to defend against it and to defeat that particular threat that is taking place. So the difference is vaccines are using an antigen and synthetic material to be injected into the body in order to have that immune response and the training that it takes, whereas immune messengers are natural occurring, and it allows you to, if you were to get a foreign entity, it remembers, it recognizes that, and then it kills it quickly. So you're allowing yourself from one, if you're wanting the adverse effects of the vaccines, or you want to have the training from the antigen side of it, then you get a vaccine. If you're wanting something that's more natural and more that's able to really educate and really able to train the immune system in a natural way, then you go with immune messengers that utilizes the transfer factors that transfers immunity from one source to the other, so that you're able to quickly and more easily fend off these bad viral and bacterial infections. So that's really the difference between getting a vaccine from the doctor or getting immune messengers, which I offer, which is all natural peptides and proteins that will really that helps you to have a better and stronger immune system. So whether you do vaccines or whether or not you do vaccines, that's totally your choice. I have been vaccinated. I was vaccinated when I was a child, and I really had no problems whatsoever. Others have been vaccinated and they had big time issues. I know a relative that got autism, or they say that they had autism. I know others who got tics. So does it mean that if you get a vaccine that these things will occur to you? No, it doesn't. But to some, it does. So you have to make an educated guess on whether or not, an educated decision of whether or not getting vaccinated for yourself or for your children is the right call in that particular case. Or using immune messengers that I offer to be in a more natural way, and just allowing nature to assist you in fighting off these particular pathogens. Now, for me personally, I don't like the idea of vaccination before the age of 2. That's just me personally, because there are a lot of studies that show that if you were to that the bigger problems occur before the age of 2. So, but after the age of 2, there's studies that show that there's a lot less adverse effects that take place if you just wait till after age 2 to get vaccinated. So, and plus you tend to get a lot less vaccines after the age of 2 versus getting vaccines before the age of 2. Now, I would say this because you have to think about the baby's immune system. It's not strong. It's still developing. It's still learning. It's still getting the antigens from the mother's milk if they are breastfeeding. So you're still getting that from the mother. So the baby's still learning from all of this, but they are not getting these synthetic material that's going to cause a lot of issues with their immune system, because their immune system is not yet able to attack that particular foreign entity, because they're not yet developed enough to really fight off that. But if you are to wait to after age 2, then you're more likely to have the child is more easily able to fight off whatever synthetic thing that could be there. But anyway, so you can go to my website at chadallan.net, CHADALLAN.net. You can definitely see I have a lot of good stuff there as well. And I want to thank you so much for being on the call today. And if you want my free Ultimate Health Guide, please go to CHADALLAN.net/freebie, FREEBIE, and you get yourself the Ultimate Health Guide and learn a lot more about the immune messengers that I was just talking about a moment ago. And I want to thank you for being on the call, and I hope you have a blessed evening. And thank you for sharing your comments. And if you are watching this on the replay, ask your questions away, and I will definitely answer them. Share the video with your friends if you got value out of this, because I believe it's a very educational video as well. And you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.